Hello everyone, welcome back to Mr. Bago's market analysis and trading update. It was a very interesting day in the market on Monday's session. Um, so if you did follow along on our previous video, we talked about Google, and obviously we also talked about ARM, which didn't perform because AMD got a downgrade and Nvidia got that there was a news coming out from China that they were just inspecting into Nvidia's monopoly status in the country. But again, we're not trading on the news, we're trading the technical, but obviously that did have some negative impact on the stock price. And so as a result, the whole semiconductor sector was taking a hit. But that does not change our stance on ARM. Okay, I want to show you this. ARM, which did take a dive with the whole semiconductor names, but this is holding pretty well, right? Because if we weren't for that, we would have been able to held this thing. So looking at daily is pointless now at this time. What we really want to do is to dig into hourly and 2 hours chart to get a better idea. Yes, we had an initial sell. This is where you would, take a step back and see, okay, we want to see the buyers are recommitting into this market because again, ARM had a pretty good weekly close and monthly also looking pretty good. It has no reason to sell like this, right? And the market is by no means weak right now. We will get to SPY, which is looking a little bit concerning, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So ARM, we found buyers, good. Less buyers to be expected. Sell and sell, which were also very, very weak, and we picked it up. This is what you get from hourly. This is initial sell followed by pretty nice bull demand. This is what you want to see if you're a bull in ARM, right? This is higher high and higher low with declining selling volume, and then we picked right back up, right? There was not even a wick, right? We just placed buy right at the start of this candle. This is beautiful, right? If you're playing like weekly calls that expire within 5 days, you might want to rethink about, you probably want to do some leap, like you probably want to have at least 2 weeks out in expiration if you're playing semiconductor this week, or you may just be buying shares. I think that's pretty good too. But again, I always recommend, I urge people to hedge just because the market is so high, it is so far from even 20 days moving average. This is not a good time to really go risk on. Okay, it's not the time, right? And I mean, even 4 hours found support almost above all the moving averages on 4 hour chart. I'd say this is pretty decent on ARM. We also talked about Caterpillar being a potential short, but thank goodness we did open gap up, right? And we also pointed out that this is a trend line to follow. If we do trade above this, it is a long setup, right? It is no longer a short. And sure enough, it opened way gap up, right? So this now has become a long setup, guys. Don't even think about shorting Caterpillar. This is great. This is a long. I think this is a pretty good place to enter long position. Um, if going long is still your thing in today's market, I think this is looking pretty decent. Um, Before we talk about the short idea, I wanted to move over to SPY. Now, take a look at this. Um, I don't believe, yeah, the swing trading tool is still showing pretty nice bullish. But if we do go, well, I'll say this. that shows just right before the major call level at 6100, some people are getting out, right? Um, I do remember I saw some dark pool activities coming out of um, S&P ETF. Some people are trying to get out, and well, there you go. Close the gap in a pretty bad candle, right? Usually we see this, we do see some pullback or some consolidation. So how we close today, and more importantly, how CPI looks this week will ultimately determine how we go in the next few weeks, right? You want to talk about which stocks are performing well, which stocks have like, different setups. If the market is gonna crash, none of that is gonna matter, right? Um, I think how we close the next session on Tuesday is gonna matter. If we close very weak, you don't want to see a green candle goes up like this and close with a wick very small, very weak, very bad close with very low volume. That could be a trap, right? That could indicate that hey, we're gonna sell on the CPI print. So do be careful, guys. If you're going long, I think you should hedge, right? On hourly, yeah, down, very weak buying. The seller will just take it over. Obviously, some people are still struggling and they had to wait for 1 hour, 20-hour moving average reject, and it happened. So, yeah, I don't think you should be blindly going long today. If you do go long, just remember, I think semiconductor is not overly overvalued as compared to some other financial names or some other big tech names. Semis are okay, but I would say you want to hedge, right? Especially this week is having so many catalysts. You don't want to be just going, you know, first head in and without any protection. Um, so this is how the market looks. And these are how all these semi and big tech look. Oh yeah, I was getting to Google. So Google, if you did follow along, congratulations. It was a good day for Google. Yeah, up point 35%. I mean, it's still pretty good. The market, the broader market was down, right? You saw this buy, yeah, 2 hour looks pretty decent. I would really discount this higher volume on the sell side just because it was generally a pretty bad hour in the whole market. I think even as strong as Microsoft was, also took a dive during that time. And the next one found support on a higher low level. We just closed it pretty nicely, along with Tesla too. Tesla is it was a monster. Yeah, I think it will continue to be, but I wouldn't just buy shares on Tesla right now. I would probably be selling some puts just because it is way too high, but it is still bullish. But you don't want to be catching that at a very bad price. If you're a trader, if you're an investor, then that's another thing. Hourly chart, this is higher low and higher high. There's nothing to report here. Very strong demand on Google. 4 hours. This is the best chart in the world. Okay. Obviously, with Google, there was like a major trend line. We broke and retest. Very good demand, and then we just go up from there. This is really good. This is real good. Okay. Even on daily, this thing is insanely good. Okay, right? PX Trender also just turned green. This is brilliant, right? I think if you want to go long, you want to think about Google, you want to think about ARM, you also want to think about LRCX, right? Lam Research has even better setup than ARM. I won't go too much into details, but this is clear higher highs and higher lows, guys. Like you want to be in on this trade, right? I think ARM is still, you know, at the place where it can really be easily affected by Nvidia and AMD. But Lam Research is, I mean, this has been down significantly. If you remember Lululemon, that's a huge comeback story, right? I think something similar is brewing with Lam Research. So, you know, pay attention to this. You don't want to be sleeping on this beautiful opportunity. This is the first time we see this kind of setup throughout the last few months or so for LRCX. This is good, and this is bad. uh, Palo Alto, one of my favorite names, but when the market decides to sell, you have to listen. Down, 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 very weak buying back. Well, you know what? It's not a bad stock. For earnings or guidance, everything was great, but it's too expensive, right? We just sell all the way down, very weak buying on hourly too. I want to show you the daily because yeah, we sold and we closed below 20 days moving average. The really 100% A plus shorting signal you will have is that we open flat or gap down or whatever that is, uh, and we go up to retest on 20 days moving average and we get rejected. That's when you really want to go short. And your target could be as low as 50 days moving average or maybe 100 days moving average because yeah, we tested 20 days moving average and all this thing and it happened for a while and then went up along with the broader market and then it slowed down. This time we're not testing anymore. We closed below 20 days moving average. VX Trader also turned red. A lot of sellers here. So again, I don't think you should be blindly going long anymore. You want to have some short position, you want to have some long position, and this is one of the stock that's really overvalued, okay? It has been way too good, right? People want to get out, understandable. You don't want to be in on this, right? You don't want to become the exit liquidity. You want to be short in this while going long on some other, underperformed name in the last few months or so, and then that's where value is, right? So in this kind of market, choppy, consolidating, you want to be buying undervalued things and also be shorting overvalued things, right? Long and short. This is the type of market that you should be start to, considering these kind of things. Again, we're still in bull market, but we do see some weakness coming out of SPY and some other big tech names. So this is the update. Do remember, if you really do enjoy the content, subscribe and like. And market is doing what it does right now. We want to be paying attention to the CPI, PPI, and also the long setup today will be Google, ARM, and LRCX. And the short recommendation is going to be Palo Alto. Once again, this is not financial advice. You're trading on your own risk, but happy trading. I do want to see you coming out from the other side, making some profit on these suggestions. And then if there's any question anytime, let me know. Take care. Bye now.